Welcome to Vsb News Online for Thursday, January the 22nd. I'm Charles Webb. Home Affairs Minister Senator Michael Fay summoned the city mayor and elected officials to a meeting this morning to address what he described to Vsb News as the concerns of the people and the government about the manner in which the 200-year-old corporation is being run. When he arrived at City Hall, Minister Fay said he would be seeking guidance on the status of the Black Mayors Conference, the planned Parlerville Hotel, the threatened legal action by the corporation against the government, and several other issues. When the meeting broke up 2 hours later, Deputy Mayor Donnell Smith told the waiting media that participants had agreed not to talk to them, and Minister Fay followed his lead.
Hey, are you going to come and talk to us for a second?
No, we agreed not to speak to any of you guys, and then we'll let you know when we will speak to you.
So,
yes.
Did what you heard today satisfy you?
Yeah, we are in a good position in terms of dialogue. We will be meeting again on Monday, but I think that there's some good common ground to build on. The matter involving Parlerville is obviously in litigation, so we won't be commenting on that. But I think we can, and I'm hoping that we can move forward on some common ground.
Did they bring up the situation with regard to the conduct of the councillors? Could you deal with that?
Well, no, I'm not going to deal with any more than what I've said. We've had a very fruitful meeting. As you see, we've been together for a couple of hours with some very constructive dialogue, which has been very useful. So I think for the purpose of today, that's sufficient. As I said, we are keen to meet and have further discussions on Monday.
Are you happy?
I'm pleased that we had the opportunity to discuss today, and I think a lot was learned and a lot of common ground was found.
Will you meet again?
Yeah, we'll meet on Monday. What we're looking at again is having dialogue about where the council is, where the Bermuda government is, and trying to find common ground between everyone to move the city forward and move country forward.
Was the mayor there today?
The mayor was there. It was a full council, which was very helpful and very fruitful indeed.
Bermuda is on its own as far as reappointment of the Director of Public Prosecutions is concerned. In part one of a two-part interview, the new head of the Caribbean and Bermuda section of the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, Julian Miller, says the issue which saw the Premier expressing concern over the reappointment of Rory Fields as DPP over protests that Deputy DPP Cindy Clark should have been given the job.
I think that's probably an issue for Bermuda internally and for the governor. I don't think that the Foreign Office would be wanting to intervene in an issue like that. But I think on that appointment, it's important to remember that for some appointments, it's very important that the people who have to make sure that nobody is above the law and to keep everyone honest, that there's a strong independent process for those appointments to make sure we get the best people. And I've met Rory Field, the Director of Public Prosecutions, and so I'm well aware of the experience that he's had and a lot of the work that him and his team have to do fighting the issues that you have in Bermuda. I know there are concerns about gangs and guns, and I met with the police as well while I was here earlier this week, and they seem to have a good relationship with the DPP's office, and I'm hearing of conviction rates which they're very pleased with. So I think it's important that you have a good DPP in place, and that the process is a fair and independent one, but it's not one for the UK to get involved in, I think.
Another issue which is almost history now is the case of the Uyghurs. Is that something that your office would get involved with?
Well, we're aware of the history of the Uyghurs' arrival in Bermuda. I think it's fair to say it's caused a lot of deep thought about how we move forward from here. I mean, at the moment it's a sort of Bermuda immigration issue, but we have to see moving forward what that means in terms of nationality and things. But again, at the moment, I think that's really that they're here in Bermuda, and it's for Bermuda to work out what their current status is here. And then if there are implications for the UK, I'm sure we would want to be involved at that juncture.
Tomorrow, Mr. Miller reveals that his relationship with Bermuda also has a personal connection. Vacation rentals, the America's Cup, and business opportunities in the hospitality industry were part of the key discussions during the just completed Hospitality Forum at the Fairmont Southampton Resort. Bermuda Tourism Authority CEO Bill Hanbury was asked what plans are in place to meet and manage the entrepreneurial expectations of Bermudians.
There will be a lot of entrepreneurial opportunities to connect to America's Cup effort in Bermuda, and so we want to encourage those entrepreneurs to find out as much as they can about America's Cup and figure out where they can make those connections.
But how are you going to manage the expectations? Because I can tell you, and I think you know, there are many high expectations.
There are high expectations, and those need to be, they need to be toned down a little bit, because it won't be everything people think that it will be in many respects. It is going to be a great event for a month. What I'm more concerned about is the long-term effect of America's Cup, and let's get the notoriety of Bermuda, the brand of Bermuda connected to America's Cup, so that we build our overall market position, not just for the 30 days of 2017, which will be wonderful, but the real benefit of America's Cup is that we're going to take a boost up, we're going to take a step up economically overall because of America's Cup, and that's where the entrepreneurs can tap in, whether it's around the creative arts like apparel and jewelry, or whether it's somebody thinking about a vacation rental or thinking about a transportation company. That we need to do it from a sustained perspective, not just from 30 days in 2017. We need to be building this so that it remains at a higher level.
And we'll be back with more news right after this.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the Breakfast Bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking. Along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
Police Commissioner Michael De Silva hopes that motorists who encountered delays on their way to and from work yesterday, as the police conducted road policing exercises at various locations, are getting the message. It clearly demonstrated that traffic offenses are part and parcel of the way the community handles itself on the roads, and only it can solve the problem.
The strategy calls for a plan to make sure that they're in the right place at the right time. And Mr. Cardwell talked about intelligence-led. So for the first time, we're using our own data to figure out where we need to be. Where are the most collisions occurring? Where is the most danger being posed on the roads? That's where we'll put our staff. If you consider our responsibilities under the Police Act, our primary directive is to protect life and prevent crime. And prosecute offenders is way down the list. So this whole approach is about preventing collisions, preventing bad driving before it actually puts people at risk. That's the approach. It's under consideration by the government as part of new legislation. And I think the government's done a fair job of explaining what they're looking at. What I would say is, you know, our strategy says if you want a different result, you've got to do things differently, and you just can't keep booking people and expecting that to change behavior. So we welcome a review of legislation, and you know, what the final product looks like, we don't know just yet, but we certainly welcome the first step. I think the whole point that we're making today is there is no single answer to this. The answer is to look at the problem from the widest possible angle and bring to bear changes across a wide spectrum. So it's not just education, it's not just enforcement, it's not just rehabilitation, it's not just changes to legislation. It's not just technology, but the answer is a combination of all of them. So, speed cameras probably has a place in the overall effort.
While the investigation into the killing of a mallard duck at Spittle Pond continues, Audubon Society President Andrew Dobson is eager to point out that most birds of Bermuda are protected. He plans to emphasize the point tonight and next Tuesday when he gives his annual bird report at the BUEI.
Birds are protected in Bermuda, so we have to think about that too.
Yeah, there's a Birds Act that protects birds throughout the island, not just on the nature reserves. Some species are pest species, and those birds can be culled, things like pigeons that cause a nuisance to farms and people's roofs. But all birds are protected by a Birds Act. Yes. Anywhere in Bermuda, yes, not just on nature reserves.
Would you like to see specific areas designated as particularly protected?
Well, I think we have most of the areas now as nature reserves. We're such a small land area; it's very difficult to create any new areas. But yeah, things are looking pretty good for nature reserves.
Where the birds go, is it? There's no good places to go.
Actually, you say that, but birds can turn up anywhere. I mean, last year we had a peregrine falcon on one of the office buildings in Hamilton. They can see the tall buildings as their normal cliff sites where they can then fly from to get pigeons or whatever. But yes, certainly we need nature reserves. We need some tranquil areas for birds to reside and be able to feed safely.
So the Audubon Society, which I think is just about over 100 years old now, isn't it?
Well, Audubon in the States is over 100 years. Audubon in Bermuda, we had our 60th anniversary last year. And another milestone from this that we've just had, we had our 40th Christmas bird count. And I'll be featuring that in my talk. 40 years of bird records in Bermuda have produced some interesting results. And talking of results and people's observations, there's now the opportunity for anybody in Bermuda to log on to ebird.org, and you can record your own birds there and see what people have been recording. And it's acting as a very good tool to show what birds are arriving when and where in Bermuda, and also as a progression over time of how things are changing.
Great for school children.
Excellent for school children, yes. Yeah.
Because they are our future bird watchers.
That's right. So I'd encourage anybody to log on to that and to have a look.
And now we turn to Earl Baisden with the latest from the sports desk.
Shadow Minister of Sport, Michael Weech, released a statement regarding comments made by former Minister of Sport Wayne Scott. The statement reads, in light of former Minister Wayne Scott's comments on Bermuda Olympic athletes needing a reality check, his transfer from Youth and Sport Ministry will probably be welcomed by the local competitors. All too often, Bermudians are told they aren't good enough, and Minister Scott's ridiculing the aspirations of our athletes does little to reserve the anti-Bermudian attitude emanated in some parts of our community. Our youth need to be encouraged to be the best, regardless of the odds, and not told to settle for mediocrity by Bermuda's leaders and role models. The PLP believes that every Bermudian who is aspiring to success should be encouraged, not discouraged, and that sports plays a major role in teaching work ethic, character, and cooperation to our young people. However, in response, Minister Scott said this is clearly a political statement and not worth taking seriously. Scott said anyone who actually reads the original news story would know that Mr. Weeks' characterization of it is not what was said nor intended. As a former athlete who actually represented my country, my statement actually offered a pathway for excellence. I also acknowledge the extraordinary achievements that our athletes have made. If anything, Mr. Weeks' statement highlights the difference between words that are used to move people forward and words that are used to play politics. End quote. In sailing news, with so many focused on the America's Cup, let us not actually forget that Bermudians are taking part in sailing sports around the world, as CC Woolman is in Miami preparing for International Sailing Federation's Sailing World Cup, which begins January 25th. Woolman, who just competed in the LYC, ORC, and finished 18th overall and was the 10th female finisher, is preparing for the beginning of the event. Woman is hoping to qualify Bermuda a spot at the Pan American Games. She will be one of the youngest sailors in this competition. Woman will be sailing in the Laser Radar fleet, while Cameron Pimentel is in the Laser fleet. With FINA and the IOC releasing the qualifying procedures for the 2016 Summer Olympic Games, Bermuda swimmers Roy Allen Birch, Julian Fletcher, and Lisa Blackburn now know what is ahead of them. The IOC will again use the same A-B university process that they used during the 2012 Olympics, but with a small but very significant tweak. Any swimmer up to 2 per event per country who hit the FINA A standard can go to the Olympics in the first priority. The Bermuda Football Association yesterday announced the first division match from January 14th between the Somerset Eagles and Young Man Social Club, which was abandoned due to bad weather, has been rescheduled for Wednesday, January 28th at 7 p.m. at the Somerset Cricket Club. Meanwhile, the FA Challenge Cup replay between the PHC Zebras and St. David's has been rescheduled for Wednesday, January 28th at 9 p.m. at the Somerset Cricket Club. The FA Challenge Cup replay between Wolves and the Boulevard Blazers will take place on Tuesday, February 3rd at 7 p.m. at the Devonshire Recreation Club, and the replay between St. George's Colts and Southampton Rangers will be played on Tuesday, February 3rd at 9 p.m. at the Devonshire Recreation Club. The dates have been confirmed for the FA Challenge Cup on February 7th. Robin Hood will take on the Dandytown Hornets at BAA Field beginning at 9 p.m. On February 8th, at Somerset Cricket Club at 3 p.m., Somerset Trojans will entertain the winners of Wolves and Boulevard. At the BAA Field at 3 p.m., the Flanagan's Onions will take on the winner of the PHC St. David's match. At 3 p.m., over at Bernard Park, the North Village Rams will host the winner of St. George's Colts and Southampton Rangers. The Bermuda Basketball Association's Island Basketball League resumed following the Christmas break with a doubleheader inside the Summersfield Academy Gymnasium last evening. A total of 180 points were scored between the four teams. The Rimrockers picked up the first win of the league for 2015 with a 53-48 win over the Hoop Stars. David Middleton scored 14 points to lead the Rimrockers to victory, while Billy Dunn scored 12 points for the Hoop Stars. The second game of the night saw the Twisters defeat the winless Court Kings 55-24. Kevin Stevens scored 26 points for the Twisters, while Christian Fiddick scored 8 points for the Court Kings. It was another packed night at the Bermuda Squash Rackets Association Club last evening as the Oswego Island Team Squash League continued. The Pocket Ninjas defeated the Napton Hillbillies 2-1 in their Diamond League match, while the Platinum League match between Too Mad and Tight Shots was won 2-1 by Too Mad. Boasting Squashers defeated It's Complicated 2-1 in their Gold League match, and Love Handles got by down the middle 2-1 in the Silver League. The Bermuda Bowl Hockey Association hosted a triple header under the lights at the PCC hockey rink with a total of 33 goals scored on the night, which also saw 2 games decided by shootouts. After leading at 1.6-0, the Colorado Rockies needed a shootout to defeat the Toronto Arenas 8-7. The second game of the evening produced 7 goals as the Quebec Nordiques defeated the California Golden Seals 5-2. Minnesota North Stars won the final game of the night in a shootout 6-5 over the Atlanta Flames. I'm Earl Baston reporting for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Friday, January the 23rd, there will be sunny periods with a passing shower or two. Winds will be north-northwesterly and moderate, decreasing light to moderate by evening, becoming variable light overnight. We are expecting a high near 69 and a low near 64. This weather report is courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Well, thanks for watching VSB News Online for Thursday, January the 22nd. I'm Charles Webb.